All right, guys. So Israel just murdered the prime minister of Yemen.
No, they didn't. They took out the leader of the Houthi with animals.
Here comes the controversial part, the part I shouldn't say. I believe that if I were the benevolent dictator of the world, I would legalize bestiality where you are pleasuring the animal. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so the inbred horse fucker really feels the need to explain to us the morality of taking out terrorists. But now I have to show you this actual video because I wasn't actually going to even make this, but I have to. I'm sorry. This is easily the funniest video, I think, on this entire channel. Now, I've seen funny videos before, but I've never seen anything quite this hilarious. So, in middle of the night, right, 18 hours ago, in middle of the night, he pops on a live stream on his channel. He doesn't normally do this. Like, he normally does like a more professional looking news show, but he opens his channel because of how distraught he is. How distraught he is that the terrorist pedophile was targeted with a direct, pristine strike and didn't actually kill any civilians. He is distraught, and he goes on, in my opinion, the funniest pro-terrorist rant I've ever heard in my life. Direct and utter insane propaganda at work here. This dude's fucking crazy. Lock in, boys and girls. We're about to watch a very, very sweaty fat man.
All right, guys. So Israel just murdered the prime minister of Yemen.
No, they didn't. They took out the leader of the Houthi terrorist organization. The prime minister of Yemen's okay.
Because they're terrorists. And on top of that, they murdered his entire cabinet.
Yeah, the entire cabinet of Houthi terrorists. Based as fuck. Hell yeah, dude. Those guys suck. Remember Hassan Piker, 10 toes down, supports the Houthis? Yeah, those guys.
So the two separate bombings, according to Times of Israel. Why did they do that? Okay.
All right. He's asking a good question. Why did they do that?
You guys ready? Of course, as always. They're a defense for every time they go and attack neighbors, start wars,
right.
Slaughter people.
Okay, I agree.
Assassinate world leaders.
What world leaders did they assassinate? The leader of the terrorist organization is a world leader, according to you, you fat fuck? What are you talking about? Oh my god, he's so sneaky with the propaganda because no one in his fucking audience knows what he's talking about. He's talking to a couple of coked out libtards. All right, this dude's a far left American talk show talking about how the cops are bad and about how trans people deserve more rights than straight people or some shit. All right, that is what he does. Okay, he is a radical leftist lunatic, Trump bad incarnate. But this is fucking hilarious when you actually know the context.
Their excuse every time is what? Self-defense. Self-defense.
Yeah, they took out the leader of a terrorist organization that fired over 200 missiles at Israeli civilians over the last year, as well as took dozens of sailors hostage, as well as bombed hundreds of cargo ships, both American, Israeli, also Turkish, by the way, also Indian, and also they have been attacking American troops that have been stationed all over the Middle East. Yeah, they're fucking terrorists. They also contributed to the murder and starvation of 377,000 people in Yemen, which you'd think this guy would care about if he cared about civilians in the Middle East, right?
We had to defend the native Germans in the Sudetenland. That's why we had to go and take the Sudetenland and Poland and all those other places just to defend the native Germans. It's self-defense. It's self-defense. That's why we had to, starve the Palestinians to death. Because
what does that have to do? Whoa, everything is Palestine. All right, I want you to remember this. This is important. When you're talking to like radical leftists, everything is Palestine. It is the only important topic in the world. The war that started because Hamas started the war, and the war that's not over because Hamas refused to surrender and stop the war. Those guys are the main characters. Yup, absolutely. All right, back to Uncle Fat.
Collective punishment and the murder of young children from malnourishment is self-defense. No,
I mean, the Houthis are literally doing that. They are literally killing and starving Yemen kids, which is why, by the way, almost every image that you see in the news about a starving kid from Gaza is actually an image that they took from Yemen years earlier. And they, reused that image to make it look like it was coming from Gaza. Not to say that there aren't hungry kids in Gaza. Obviously, there are. And I know people are always like twisting the thing. But the reality is the situation in Yemen is like literally much fucking worse.
It's not. It's what fascists do. It's what terrorists do.
Yeah, I agree. Terrorists do starve people for no reason. I agree. You see, Israel is trying to take out a terrorist organization that killed thousands of them.
So now in this case, they say, oh, well, of course, self-defense. Yemen was bothering our ships.
They were also, literally bombing civilian cities every single day. What the fuck?
It was costing us money. It was.
Oh, he's trying to beat the anti-Semitism allegations. He's saying Jews only care about money. I mean, true, but also, come on, dude.
slowing down our trade.
Uh-oh.
If you're slowing down our trade, well then, of
Uh-oh.
course, you deserve to have your entire cabinet murdered.
Well, actually, it was the cabinet of terrorists that have not just slowed down trade, but also literally kidnapped civilians and bombed civilians.
by
Right.
the terrorist state of Israel.
Based.
Okay, so
Based.
now, is
Fuck
it
all of the
evident that they're
based.
terrorists? Yes,
Uh-oh.
because let's just
Okay.
do the shoe on the other foot.
All right.
Real simple.
All right, real
so,
simple.
for example, if the Houthis
Okay.
had murdered Benjamin Netanyahu,
Oh, no.
would they be called terrorists by every media organization?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you all know the
Yeah,
answer
of course,
to that
obviously.
if you're a big Israeli.
Yeah, well, you're going to kill a democratically elected leader with no reason and no reason to be part of some war or anything? Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. They killed a not democratically elected terrorist organization head. Yeah, there's a big fucking difference. And also, let me remind you, all these terrorist organizations that this man is defending, they tried to kill Netanyahu all the time. Bro.
Reporter, you hate Israel, you're somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
You all know the answer. Of course they'd be called
Yeah,
terrorists.
right,
Oh
of
my
course.
God, they murdered the prime minister
Right, they tried to assassinate Trump a couple of times.
of Israel. Terrorists!
Mm-hmm.
And they're Muslim on top.
Oh, good point. I totally forgot about that point. He's right. They're Muslims and terrorists? Oh, God, it's over. Leftists trying not to play the race card for a 1-minute challenge failed immediately.
Pretty savage Muslims.
Oh, no.
Terrorists!
True, true.
If they murdered the entire cabinet of Israel, what would they be called? They'd be
I
called
mean, there's a big difference. The difference is the cabinet in Israel never attacked them first. And also is a democratically elected cabinet, not a literal terrorist organization that's called a terrorist organization by every single country, including Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia considers them terrorists.
the worst terrorists in the world. Israel does it. They're like, nah, who cares? That's totally fine. No, so we got
Yeah, they literally took out a terrorist guy that was bombing Israeli civilians for the last 2 years. Based as fuck.
to send him money. Hey guys, go to work today. Make sure you do a double shift because you got to send some of that money
It's
to
so funny how he's trying to hit every single emotional note he possibly can, just leaving out the context that it was literally the Houthis that were bombed, not like the actual prime minister of Yemen.
Israel to start endless wars with their neighbors, to start a genocide and make us pay for all of it. And by the way,
Why'd they start these wars? Just out of nowhere? They just started them out of nowhere? Is that what happened? Is that what happened, Chunk?
now what's going to happen with Yemen and America? Now, unless we get new leadership and we change direction and we stop being Israel's servants,
Dude, I love how the far left and the far right are just the same. The Jews control everything, no matter which radical you decide to go to.
that all of Yemen's going to hate America forever. Why? Because we paid.
They literally have... Dude, you're fucking retarded. They literally have Death to America in their national slogan. Their national slogan is Death to America, Death to Israel, a curse upon the Jews. That is... Dude, what are we doing? What are we doing? Oh my God. Houthi slogan. Not even joking. All right, check it out, baby. Slogan of the Houthis. God is great. Death to America. Death to Israel. Curse upon the Jews. You think now they're gonna hate America? Like, this dude is trying so hard, so fucking hard to make it look like this is like a moral wrong that's gonna drag Americans into endless wars. Like, it is insane.
for the slaughter of their entire government.
It wasn't their government. It was the Houthi terrorists.
And all under the rubric of self-defense. Okay, so
True.
they say, all right, well, obviously the Palestinians have no right to defend themselves. No, they are to sit there and be occupied for the...
Are you implying that October 7th, the massacre where Hamas poured into Israel unannounced and for no reason, they decided to waltz in and just murder 1,200 people and take 300 hostages? Are you implying that that is self-defense and that is them defending themselves? Is that what you're implying? Because from my perspective, it looks like it was a really big critical error on their perspective. I mean, I don't know if you've seen before and after pictures of Gaza, but it is not looking too good out there. A lot of you probably don't know this, but this was Gaza right before October 7th. Literally right before October 7th, this was Gaza. I really feel like they did not actually need to launch this gigantic attack and just murder random Israeli women and children and rape them. I feel like that was probably a pretty massive miscalculation if you ask me. Anyway, back to sweaty Uncle Cenk.
the rest of time because Israel already voted. They were never going to allow a Palestinian state. So as they...
Actually, ironically, everything he says is wrong. Israel tried to do a two-state solution 5 separate times. every single time it was rejected because the Palestinian Authority and whatever terrorist organization is governing different parts always rejected it because they don't want a two-state solution. They don't want a state aside from Israel. They want one pure only Palestinian state and to wipe out all the Jews. They rejected 5 offers, by the way.
Cry fake tears about, oh, they don't want us to exist. In what hypothetical world? There is no multiverse where Israel is going to get wiped out, even though they have nukes, Iron Dome, and a bigger military than the rest of the Middle East combined.
So then it was a pretty stupid idea for them to attack Israel, right? Like, we're on the same page. Israel is a much more powerful military than the Houthis, than Hamas. Why are they fucking bombing them? Why? Unless it's some sort of ideological war based on extreme interpretations of religious texts that say execute all of the kafar, all of the people that aren't Islamic need to literally get executed. Maybe they are religious, fanatic, extremist, terrorist fucks, and they're also retarded.
So Israel exists. It is under no threat of not existing. Anyone who thinks that Israel is under an existential threat is a lunatic who is totally deranged.
So, to be honest, I don't think right now Israel is under some sort of existential threat. Their military is much more powerful than their neighbors right now. So does that mean they should just let thousands of their civilians get wiped out every year or so when the terrorists decide to launch another volley of ballistic missiles? like, what's your argument? Your argument is because they don't have an existential threat, they should let terrorists bomb the shit out of them forever. Are you fucking retarded?
And because of probable bias or propaganda,
right,
believes that, oh my God, poor little Israel with all of...
Dude is literally having a heart attack on camera. He went live in middle of the night to literally mourn, give a soliloquy for the Houthi terrorists. Like uncle, like nephew, what can I say?
Weapons, and the only country in the world that has Iron Dome, but we're all about to get murdered any second. No, you're not. Those are paranoid fantasies that are making you go on the offense and brutalize your neighbor.
Brutalize the people that have bombed Israel every single day for the last year. Yes, sir. Based as fuck. Kill them. Yeah, I don't know why this is controversial. Bro, if I'm going to give a hypothetical. If Mexico, okay, was bombing America every single fucking day, a couple times, all right, bombing Texas every day, a few missiles fly into Texas, where the entire population of Texas needs to hide in bunkers, all right, and hopefully everyone survives the volley after volley, literally every single day over the course of 2 years. You think America wouldn't have every right in the fucking universe to strike back a pinpoint targeted strike to take out the leader of the cartel that's doing that shit? Abso-fucking-lutely we should. What are you talking about?
And start war after war after war and say...
Actually, if you look at the history, you might have heard of it. History, it's a thing. Israel has not started a single war. I know that this is controversial. Israel has not started any wars. Not one. Not a single war has been actually started by Israel. You could come... Every single war has not been started by Israel.
All right, America, servant boys.
They didn't start no wars. They didn't lose no wars either. I don't want to be rude, Uncle Chank, but it's a bad day to be a fat man from Turkey.
Let's go.
Uh-oh.
Pay for my war with you. Yeah, pay for my war with Iran. Do my war with Iran. Do my war with Iraq. Pay with your soldiers. Pay with your money. Give me more money.
Dude, he literally bought into like every conspiracy theory. He got so unhinged. Yeah, because American troops were on the ground fighting for Israel in Iraq. It was not an Israel-based war at all.
They've already taken $310 billion from the American people. And now we're on the hook for murdering the entire government of Yemen. So why did they do it?
It was not the government of Yemen. It was the Houthis.
Oh, well, they were bothering our trading routes. Oh, I'm so sorry.
They were bombing American ships. They were bombing Israeli ships. They were kidnapping Filipino sailors. They were bombing Israeli civilians. Literally based as fuck.
Your business people lost a couple of dollars.
Oh, no, the shekels. The Jews, then their money, the Jews.
Of course, murdered their entire government. But they said, no. They also...
It wasn't their entire government. It was the Houthis. It's amazing.
And we knocked down almost all of them. But one got through, and we had one casualty.
Oh, so you're telling me that because most of the missiles flying towards Israel were deflected... By the way, every time Israel uses the Iron Dome to deflect a missile, it costs Israel like $1 million. Okay? So you're telling me that Israel needs to literally give an endless supply of money to a missile defense system instead of actually taking out the people launching the missiles while their entire population needs to hide in bunkers every single day, you know, waking up their children in middle of the night, dragging them, they have 15 seconds to get into a bunker. Do you think that's a normal way to live your life? And yes, a few missiles did get through and people did die, but again, he doesn't care. They even hit the main airport in Israel, the Houthis, but again, he doesn't care. None of this matters to him. He doesn't understand anything about basic conflict or any sort of war or any history. He's literally just doing actual straight up terrorist propaganda. Like this isn't just having a bad read on a geopolitical situation. This is a radical leftist in America, which, by the way, I think is a borderline terrorist organization. And the way the Young Turks, in my opinion, inspired Gavin Long to murder 4 police officers in 2016, I don't think that should ever be forgiven. These people are radical fucks that are trying their best to destroy our country because they hate the West. Death to America, death to Israel. They are literally chanting the same fucking chant as the Houthis. So he is literally laundering the reputation of terrorists, doing straight up terror propaganda.
Because we had one casualty, we're allowed to murder every one of their leaders.
Based as fuck. Yes, actually, I completely agree.
Wait,
Yeah.
let's
Based.
use that logic and see if it holds.
Okay, let's use the logic. All right, so the logic is, let me just try to understand. The Houthis have been bombing Americans and Israelis for the last 2 years, completely for no reason. They did it themselves. They're not like defending themselves or anything. It wasn't self-defense. They literally just bombed Israel because fuck Israel. Okay, and America. All right, same thing. All right, so according to the Houthis, that's the same thing. So they're out there, they're bombing people, and a couple of them die. And a couple people did actually die and get kidnapped by Houthi terrorists. And so Israel retaliated by wiping out the Houthi terrorist commander.
Not 10,000. It is at a bare minimum. Israel has murdered 62,000 Palestinians in Gaza.
Why? Did they start that war out of nowhere? They just decided to roll in and kill 62,000 Palestinians in Gaza? Now, I'm not minimizing the death of civilians here. I think it's a real tragedy, just like the death of civilians in every single war is a tragedy. But who started the war? Hamas started the war and refused to end the war and reject every fucking ceasefire they possibly can. They are still holding Israeli hostages, and they are still refusing to give them back. The moment they give back the hostages and surrender, the war would end. How could you possibly compare? Unless you are literally here to launder the reputation of terrorist organizations. Spoiler, I think that's exactly what he's doing.
And over 20...
I think this is the biggest danger to America, by the way, right now. I don't think it's the Houthis. I think it's the radical leftists in America that are literally propagandizing and doing their absolute best to incite violence and riots in America in the names and in the same vein, the spiritual vein of these terrorists.
1,000 children. So if one person means your whole cabinet should be murdered.
Yeah, but that's not what the logic was. The one person was after hundreds and hundreds of missile strikes were, thank God, thwarted, completely coming out of the blue with zero reason why those strikes were ever made. That's the situation. So they stopped the people that were literally bombing the shit out of them for no reason.
What does 62,000 mean? Wait, do we get to use the same standard for Israel? Or is the American media right that Israel is so exceptional, so supreme, so superior to everyone else
I don't know which American media he's reading, but that's crazy.
on the planet, that they get a completely different standard? So if Yemen kills Israel's leaders, they're terrorists. But if Israel kills Yemen's leaders, they are not terrorists.
It's not Yemen's leaders. They literally kill terrorists. They literally kill terrorists that started this shit. Oh my God, he's retarded. He's retarded. I mean, I don't, so to be clear, I think he knows the truth. Like, if you look at his actual tweet, I showed you his tweet before. This is his actual tweet. Israel murdered the Prime Minister of Yemen. At Grok, please explain to Cenk the difference between the government of Yemen versus the government of the Houthis. And can you assess Cenk's IQ based on this post? And the reply, this is crazy. The internationally recognized government of Yemen, led by Presidential Council, blah, 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 is based in Aden and supported by the UN and allies like Saudi Arabia. The Houthis, Ansar Allah, control northern Yemen, including Sana'a, the people that were actually bombed, and operate a de facto government there, which isn't widely recognized as legitimate. Cenk's post refers to the recent Israeli strike killing the Houthi leaders, not the recognized Yemeni government. IQ can't be assessed, all right? So that's the craziest part. Like, he knows. He literally knows that this is a lie. And I'll tell you one thing. Every time Grok replies to you on Twitter, it fucking notifies you, which is annoying as fuck. But he absolutely saw this reply. I know he saw this reply because he answered other replies in the comments. He knows. He knows that this is not an actual government of Yemen that got bombed. He knows this for a fact. But he's literally just using it as propaganda to wage his fucking spiritual war.
Any Palestinian or someone from Yemen or anywhere kills one Israeli, all of their leaders should be decapitated and murdered.
All right, so don't start wars, I guess. I guess the solution is don't be terrorists. Don't start wars. Don't start wars, especially if you know you're going to lose, because that's double retarded. Don't start wars, even if you think you could win, because it's not nice. But it's especially stupid if you start a war that you also know you're going to lose. Good point, Shank. Try to keep your saliva in your mouth, though.
But if Israel kills 62,000 of your people,
right,
who cares? If you don't, you touch a hair on their bodies. If you do self-defense. Now I get to bomb Syria and Lebanon. By the way, these are all...
First of all, Israel bombed Syria. Israel literally stopped the bombing that he's talking about in Syria, because he just says buzzwords. Israel bombed Syria, and I'm only saying this because I actually follow the geopolitical situation in certain areas of the world, just because I hate these fucking radical terrorist sympathizers in America. They bombed Syria because the current Syrian Jolani government is literally perpetrating mass executions of Christians and Druze in Syria. Israel bombed the Jolani ISIS terrorist fragment, and to stop them from killing Christians in Syria, and he's saying that this is Israel trying to start a war with Syria. He's fucking retarded.
All countries they actually bombed. They now have Western Syria. They have Southern Lebanon.
Southern Lebanon was literally controlled by Hezbollah terrorists. Hezbollah, in case you're unaware, is a terrorist organization designated by Lebanon themselves. Lebanon is currently at war with the terrorist organization Hezbollah, which is in Lebanon. But Hezbollah contributed to the deaths of 550,000 deaths in Syria, which I notice you literally don't give a shit about. So again, this is classic American leftist radical fucking retards. All right. What's going on in Gaza is obviously a tragedy. It's so sad that civilians die. Literally, may God bless the bullets of the fucking of the IDF soldiers, guide them directly into the Hamas terrorists, so the war can end with as few civilian casualties as possible. Yeah, literally kill all the fucking terrorists, though. That would be based as shit. So again, I only say this stuff literally to piss off my ops, and it works every time. Oh my god. But it's amazing watching these people have actual emotional meltdowns. Like this is a grown-ass inbred man having an emotional meltdown because terrorists were killed in Yemen.
Just split the West Bank in two. West Bank is not controlled by Hamas. This has nothing to do with Hamas. This has nothing to do with self-defense. This is a plan for slaughter, colonialism, imperialism, and to set up Greater Israel.
All right, so Greater Israel is a buzzword that he uses a lot, and I am going to show you what he's talking about because it is a long time old debunked conspiracy theory. So this is the map of Greater Israel that everyone likes quoting as often as they possibly can, allegedly. So this is what Israel is now. This is Israel right now, this little dot over here. And they claim that Israel wants to expand their borders all the way out like this. Now, the reason why this is super retarded is because Israel has a population of like less than 10 million people. You think less than 10 million people are going to be literally occupying, and they're all living here. You think they're going to be occupying this entire area? Like, you're fucking retarded. That's one. And two, I think by the fact that they go out and they call, Israel colonialists as often as they possibly can, because, Israelis, they're colonizers. White people, they're colonizers. All white people and Jews, colonizers, bad colonizers. They want you to forget the fact that the #1 biggest colonial religion of all time is not Christianity, and it is not Judaism. It is Islam. Islam is the biggest colonial religion in the history of the world. And obviously, he does not want you to remember that.
So these lunatics,
right?
Like, if Greater Israel goes into Yemen,
no one's fucking fighting for Greater Israel. Like, dude, he's so retarded. Like, dude, they shouldn't start wars, okay? They just shouldn't start. Like, they can't help themselves from bombing Jews. They can't help themselves from killing Jews. Like, bro, literally, shut the fuck up.
Saudi Arabia and Turkey. That's how gigantic how many?
Yeah. Greater Israel is literally like halfway through Europe and then all the way into South. I can make up borders too. Did you hear about Greater Turkey? That plan is going crazy right now.
Wars are these lunatics going to start?
None so far. We'll see how many they start, but so far they haven't started any.
How many world leaders are they going to murder?
So far, none. So far, they haven't murdered any world leaders, but we'll see. Maybe at some point when Israel does murder some world leaders, I'll change my tune. But so far, they haven't.
before we called them terrorists, which is obviously what they are, because we're only using their own words and their own logic.
Ah, the Jews invented language.
You can't say that if Yemen kills the leaders of Israel, they're terrorists, but if
They didn't kill the leaders of Israel, but they're terrorists for bombing civilians constantly. That's why they're terrorists, because they're bombing civilians all the time. That's why they're terrorists. Yep. You know, they're rapist, pedophile terrorists that caused the deaths of, contributed to the deaths of 377,000 people in Yemen alone, aside from bombing civilians all the time.
Israel kills the leaders of Yemen, they are not terrorists.
Yeah, because Israel didn't kill the leaders of Yemen. Israel killed the leaders of the Houthis, which is not the government. It is it's a world-recognized terrorist organization. You are playing the running defense for terrorists. Like, this is an American-recognized terrorist organization that you are literally running defense for. Like, I don't know why the FBI doesn't pay attention to this shit. Maybe if someone is literally supporting the enemies of America, they are also the enemy of America. It's shocking to me. Again, I wouldn't have even probably made this video if it wasn't for the fact that they literally directly, in my opinion, inspired Gavin Long, one of their big-time super fans, to murder 4 police officers in America. I probably wouldn't even be doing this. But these people are sick freaks.
Unless you're a liar. Unless you lie on behalf of Israel.
Bro, you lie. You've been lying this whole video. This entire video so far has been a lie. Israel didn't kill the government of Yemen, which is literally the linchpin of this entire rant. You are literally propagandizing people with your fucking bullshit. Bullshit. Like, dude, if you want to criticize Israel, you could criticize Israel for a lot of things. I have a couple things in mind that Israel definitely could get some criticism for. Killing universally recognized terrorist organizations? Nah, bro, that's a clap and a half to Israel. Shout out to Israel. May they kill many more terrorists.
For a living. And that is 90% of our politicians and 90% of our media. Tell me anything I've said that isn't true.
His entire video is is based on a foundational lie. The entire video is based on Israel killed the prime minister of Yemen, which didn't happen. They killed the leader of the Houthis, okay? The guy calls himself the prime minister because he's trying to literally, you know, take over the country and kill as many people as he can while he's doing it, right? Like, are you fucking retarded? And then this dude, tell me one thing I said that was a lie.
And 90% of our media. Tell me anything
I said that was a lie.
True.
Yeah, literally the premise of this entire video.
It's definitely true.
Oh, it's definitely true.
And so
he said
what?
it. And he said it with emotion and fervor. You could tell because his fat quivers in rage.
I want to come back to the Palestinians. And by the way, America loves...
All right, great news. He has merch. Now, you got the idea. He spends the next 20 minutes of this stream basically repeating the same things again and again and again about how all of American politicians are bought off because AIPAC is a lobby that donates to politicians. Now, again, the AIPAC thing, it's so wild every single time. You just put into an AI or you just look it up for yourself. What are the top 10 largest foreign lobbying groups paying politicians in America? If you actually look it up, Liberia, Saudi Arabia, Ukraine, United Arab Emirates, government of Japan, South Korea, and then you know, you got Israel. Like, dude, and then China, you know, it's crazy. It's absolutely fucking insane that you have the far right and the far left literally holding hands past the horseshoe, talking about how, you know, Israel controls the world, and Israel decides who the terrorists are, and they can literally kill world leaders without problems, and they trick America into starting every single war. Motherfucker, is America that much of a pussy that Israel is tricking them into starting all the wars? Like, dude, you've got to be fucking insane. You're delusional. You're actually delusional. Even Chank's his own nephew, Hassan, doesn't think that, okay? His own nephew, Hassan, says that it's America that controls Israel, not Israel that controls America. I think that there's definitely back and forth. I think that there's Secret Service, the CIA and the Mossad, I think are literally in bed together, in my opinion, and I think it causes issues for everybody. I think it causes issues for Israelis and for Americans. I don't like the idea of just endless funding foreign wars in foreign countries. I don't like that either. But realistically, what could you do? That's not the topic of the video. The topic of this video is we have a big problem in America. A big fucking problem. The big fucking problem is this fat fuck and his fat fuck friends that are out there fat and fucking, and they're literally trying to take down America to the best of their fucking ability, trying their absolute best to radicalize the far left in America to get them to commit, in my opinion, acts of violence, direct acts of violence against Americans, against politicians. You have Hassan endlessly talking, kill the American politician Rick Scott, says Hassan Piker, and his inbred uncle says the same shit. The same fucking shit. I highly recommend you check out this video about how the Young Turks, in my opinion, directly inspired the murder of 4 police officers. I think it's an incredible must-watch. It is a must-watch video. You have to see it because, like, you will see this through different light. These people are trying to destroy America. They are organizing the rallies, the protests, the charade that's been going on, and it's funny as fuck that they're trying so hard to destroy us from within. And it's also kind of tragic that no one's actually doing anything about it. Like, in my opinion, this should literally all be on FBI watch lists. I don't know what the fuck the FBI is doing. That you have...
Man, down there in Ratlanta, the fun just...
I promised you a banger, and I am here to deliver.
So Israel just eliminated a significant amount of the Houthi senior leadership in a single wave of strikes, handing that organization, arguably, the worst day in their history. I mean, going back 10 plus years, the Saudis, the United States more recently, and even Israel over the course...
I promised you a banger, and I am here to deliver. This sweaty is Chank Younger. He's a radical leftist that I recently covered in...
Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar, and I'm never gonna get this No Man's Sky video done. If they keep updating the game with like actual expansion packs all the time, just imagine releasing a game like 10 years ago at this point and then just like updating it with more content than anybody else could put in. But ladies and gentlemen, this isn't about No Man's Sky. I've been playing a lot of older games. I've just been playing games from like 2008, 2009 at this point, finishing up my backlog. You know, watching videos on YouTube that are like 6-hour long retrospectives of like a PlayStation 2 game that I've never really cared about. That's just basically what I enjoy. That's the last bastion of fun internet stuff to me. Now, I'm going to be upfront here and say that the internet kind of just sucks now. I really don't know what is real. I've had this like sort of existential crisis lately, wondering what is actually real on the internet and what actually isn't. Now, obviously, I'm sure a lot of you guys probably have like boomers in your family, people that, fire up the old Facebook and just scroll through, like no tomorrow. And if you ever seen like shorts, Facebook, TikTok, whatever, I would say that 95% of the content on there is shit like this. I unironically saw a video of a African man putting together a jumbo Boeing 747 jet out of wood. Now, obviously, it shouldn't come to a shock to say this isn't real, but it also isn't shocking that given the state of Boeing, this thing might actually fly a little bit better. At this point, I should probably print out this 4chan like green text, this 4chan post, and just like somewhat frame it in my office somewhere. So of course, Dead Internet Theory started off in 2019. People talked about it on 4chan and said that, ladies and gentlemen, maybe it seems that everything on the internet isn't exactly as real as it was. The internet feels empty and devoid of people. It's also devoid of content, compared to, say, the internet of 2007. Now, to be fair, I'm actually not disagreeing with this guy at all. The internet does feel really weird. The other day, I was trying to look at this new thing about Microsoft. Apparently, one update killed SSDs. There's been a bunch of YouTube channels talking about it, but I looked up Windows Update, and it was this article that blew me a little bit away. So by WebPro News, this article seems pretty harmless. So I opened it up, and immediately I was wondering, that guy looks like he was generated through Grok. And then, of course, I look down and I'm like, oh, this is Marshall. Now, of course, if you look through this post, one of the things that really hits me, obviously, is how ChatGPT-like the actual writing feels. Now, this could be a human being that wrote this together. This could also just be somebody that asked ChatGPT to make this article and post it on the internet. I went up to the top of this page, and immediately I'm sitting there and I'm going, oh, this whole website seems pretty vibe-coded, which is the process of putting together an entire piece of software or just anything on your computer through the use of artificial intelligence. There's entire coding tools that you can use where you can just type in what you want. Intelligence. Get to the top of this page. Website seems pretty vibe-coded, which is the process of putting together an entire piece of software or just anything on your computer through the use of artificial intelligence. There's entire coding tools that you can use where you can just type in what you want and it'll generate the code for you. Not to say the program's great or anything, but that's how many people are getting past that barrier of entry. People do not like the AIs taking their jobs. What a shock. I was talking to a friend of mine that is like an HVAC guy now, not so much like an apprentice. Like he started off as an apprentice, but now he's got like his own thing going. And what's interesting about it too is like, he says that his job is probably the only job or one of the few jobs that isn't going to get affected by this AI wave that's coming. And the AI wave isn't just coming, it's already here. About every single AI job is probably his own thing going right now, not so much like an apprentice. Like he started off as an apprentice, but now he's got like his own thing going. People are getting past that barrier of entry. People do not like the AIs taking their jobs. What a shock. I was talking to a friend of mine that is like an HVAC guy now, not so much like an apprentice. Like he started off as an apprentice, but now he's got like his own thing going. And what's interesting about it too is like, he says that his job is probably the only job or one of the few jobs that isn't going to get affected by this AI wave that's coming. And the AI wave isn't just coming, it's already here. About every single thing that you do on the internet basically revolves around you getting into artificial intelligence. So for instance, I fired up Google and the first thing I see is AI mode. Throw that in there. And it's actually really funny. Like if you go to an AI these days, like Gemini, which is what Google is powered off of, and you type in clanker, it'll throw in and say, clanker is a derogatory and informal term originating in Star Wars, used to describe robots and AI with negative connotations. Basically, what I just did is I went to Google and I typed its equivalent of a racial slur right to the actual bot itself. And for a while, Google was going out of their way to get a little defensive about this. The previous actual AI overview that I found that people were sharing was clanker is a derogatory slang term for robots and artificial intelligence. Yeah, you can be robophobic these days, boys. New slur just dropped. I love this one user. It's like, hot take, but willingly saying clanker everywhere and using it like a slur feels like there's a chance that some people using this word likely harbors actually racist beliefs, but disguising it as hate for AI. Maybe we should be careful. Oh, what a California take, huh? No, but obviously, I think it's a little bit worrisome. You know, I'm not here to just bring up the dead internet theory out of nowhere. I feel like now it's just a tried and played out topic. If you want to experience dead internet theory, the best thing you can ever do is play Metal Gear Solid 2. It probably really did predict the future of what these AIs have planned for, especially with the wave of censorship and whatnot coming at us. But of course, one of the actual researchers from Thales came out and said that around this year, we have now accounted 51% of all internet traffic to be bot traffic. And these are programs that mimic human behavior to carry out criminal actions such as theft and fraud. Now, it's not to say all internet activity is really bad. Remember, on the internet, there's a lot of bot activity since the inception. So things like chatbots, for instance, like you remember back in the days of Cleverbot, or even nowadays, I guess you could say ChatGPT is effectively just, you know, a chatbot in some ways. Really, it's a large language model. It's an autocomplete on crack. And then, of course, you've got things like web crawlers. So again, bots that are, again, just scanning information on pages, which is what Google has been doing effectively since its inception. And of course, the most important of which are social bots. One thing that sucks about the internet nowadays is I feel like back in the day, it feels like when you were arguing with somebody, it was a real human being. But it's not. You know, nowadays it feels like 90% of the people that are on the internet are just actual LLMs that you're arguing with. Now, I've seen it in my own comment section. I've seen it in YouTube, where just down below, if you type something, you'll probably see a comment from someone that it feels like ChatGPT spit out a response, somebody copy and pasted that to a YouTube channel, or like people are just talking in the channel as if they're bots. Now, of course, one of the most extreme examples was something known as GPT 4chan. So for anybody that doesn't know what this is, I talked about this probably a couple years ago, where a YouTube user by the name of Yannick Kilcher actually took all or a bunch of information, data from 4chan, fed it into an AI, trained it, and then used that trained model to argue with people on the internet. So what was this training data? It was Raiders of the Lost Keck, 3.5 years of augmented 4chan posts from politically incorrect. Now, if you don't know the poll board on 4chan, it's considered a containment board, and it contains a lot of the filthy shit that is on that website, okay? So people on like /MLP/X/anime/video games can experience some level of the anonymous internet without some guy going in and going, "What's up, clankers? How's it going, my clankers?" You know, just replace clanker with like an actual hard-hitting racial slur, okay? You get the idea. He had his bot post 1,500 times on poll in the 24-hour period that it was, you know, live for the first time, and it was succeeding for a little bit. Eventually, the members became suspicious of the bot, and then, of course, they had threads trying to figure out how to identify if this was an actual clanker or a flesh and blood human being. But the ultimate thing about this is not the fact that he did it, it's the fact that it confused people. You know, a little bit ago, like a few months ago, we looked at a case on Reddit where on Change My View, I believe, one of the larger Reddit boards, there was an actual, you know, university committing a fucking unsanctioned, like, told test onto the user base by bringing in artificial intelligence. Obviously, Reddit wasn't a fan of it, the subreddit wasn't a fan of it, and I think legal action is even talked about because of this. So it really makes me wonder if, like, of course, all the people on Twitter, all the people on Facebook, even the people on YouTube are actually real human beings. Hell, speaking of YouTube alone, most of the ads that I'm getting now are shit like this. Now, this is not a real human being. This is a self-admitted AI. And of course, this is an AI that is yapping to me about a fucking application called Base 44. What the fuck is Base 44? I go to the actual ad and up tool that tells you, hey guys, you can build a fully functional app in minutes with just your words. So you can ask this AI to make an AI bot is shilling me, an AI influencer is selling me an app that I use AI to build other dog shit apps. Maybe another AI app. I mean, we're literally talking about like a fucking amount of feedback looping that is insane. We are literally talking about opening our ass cheeks and just shitting from butt cheek to mouth, butt cheek to mouth, butt cheek to mouth. There used to be a meme about this. I think it was like 4chan was at the top and people would just take 4chan shit, throw it onto like 9gag or like Dig, Reddit, so on and so forth. This is what it feels like right now. It's not even just that. I was watching videos from like Luke Stevens and there's more AI slop being sold to me. Like now they want video games to just be fucking AI slop too. To the point where you've got these big projects by Dynamic Labs where like, you know, you can just take these screenshots and turn them into an actual video game, like Forgotten Ward, for instance. Let's start this game. All servers are busy. Everyone's joining the AI trend. So we're about to spend a shit ton of resources to take an image and take a bunch of models that have been trained off actual video games, human-generated video, human-made games, and just play slop versions of them. I love that about my video games. Just wait longer than an average MMO to get in. I guess we'll fuck off and do something else in the meantime. But again, going back to like bots in general, it's like I was looking at even games like Fortnite, for instance, right? Even Fortnite, you know, if you got like 144,000 people playing like actual Fortnite gameplay, somehow 128,000 people are playing Steal the Brain Rot, some AI generated slop thrown onto the goddamn screen. And again, obviously that number used to start off at 400,000, dropped off pretty quickly. Now, I'm not a statistician or anything, but I think that this may have been botted numbers to begin with. You know, a few days ago, I saw that apparently on Twitch, they had a massive viewbot crackdown. So for anybody that doesn't know, there's viewbotting issues on Twitch on a daily basis. Like for some reason, obviously you can imagine why a lot of influencers on the internet will probably viewbot their stats, so they look a lot more popular than they actually are. Now, there's a lot of problems with this. Sometimes you feel like a sponsor can get like completely scammed, which makes the entire industry pull out. But the other thing is, obviously, in a saturated market like live streaming, botting yourself or, you know, putting yourself at the top usually can help you in discovery.